unity, and all of you who have chosen to join with me this morning. So this is our first live stream, and we're at the riverfront. Sheboygan River is in my front yard. And this is new to me, so I'm just learning, accepting, and adjusting. But think about this. Isn't it amazing how quickly each of us in our own way are rapidly accepting and adjusting to this new paradigm? Now, I'm sure a lot of the kids and cats would wish all their parents would go back to work, but this is what's happening right now in our world. So I'd like to open today with a reading from Daily Word, and Daily Word is the Unity magazine. And for Sunday, March 22nd, the talk title is Power. And it says that I take dominion over my thoughts and words and actions. So the power of God protects me. And today I hear those renewed words and understanding from James Dillett Freeman as he wrote the prayer of protection. So in a growing awareness of oneness with my source, I realize that the power of God works through me, as me, rather than simply in me or for me. I embody divine power of choosing words that affirm the truth that I am a spiritual being. And rather simply, I know that I navigate the valleys and the peaks of my human experience. By expressing my power, I am claiming dominion over my words and thoughts. I affirm statements of truth while releasing negative thoughts and ideas. I think, speak with the authority of the Christ presence. So I find it interesting that over 6 weeks ago, I chose the topic of acceptance for this week. And now look how appropriate it is for our lives with what's going on right now. So this is the third and final week looking into finding the miracles within. We have looked in finding true guidance, finding trust, and now acceptance. So it's been said sometimes that good things fall apart so that better things can fall together. And to me, this is what's happening right now in our world. It appears that everything is falling apart around us. But as we relapse into this new norm and accept the reality of it all of us are witnessing a greater good. A new kindness is emerging out of this chaos. So while the government and the agencies are scrambling to find the answers and to keep us safe, humanity is stepping up in many different wondrous ways. We come to realize that we're all in this together. And it's about love and how we're connected. We are, if you think about it, all connected by this huge database, but not just for our families and friends, but for our world as a whole. In all of this, with the trials and tribulations, there is so much good news. Many of the wealthy are stepping up with very generous contributions, and believe me, this is awesome and needed. But what impresses me more is the small kindness of so many people. Children playing music on the steps of the elderly, people fixing cars at no cost, teachers rapidly getting classes online, food drives for the homeless, Meals on Wheels are still delivering, people leaving large tips to wait staff, the sacrifice of all of us staying home, our first responders. China has breathable air, and Venice has clear water, and dolphins and ducks are swimming in the canals. And I am sure that many of you have more wonderful stories to share. I call this a wake up from the universe. Now, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I am not saying that God did this, to have us all wake up. God did not do this. So what did? What did this is humanity, you and I, and the rest of the world. Our consciousness and our negative energy levels have opened up a dam of upheaval and major discount and discontent. Each of us, myself included, has to ask the question, what part did I play in this situation? Indeed, what part did I play? However, what amazes me is how easily we've all come together accepting what is. And yet prior to the COVID-19, some had no tolerance at all for acceptance or for change. We know change is always tough, even for those of us who think we're a change agent. I know that the process of sudden upheaval in one's life can cause times of disorientation, uncertainty, and insecurity. But change can also give us time to pause. Perhaps, just perhaps, the universe is much smarter than we think. Think about this. What if, instead of judging everyone and everything, including this virus and how we handle it, we join in with an acceptance of what is? So what does that mean, acceptance of what is? For instance, I join in with acceptance of all that is happening with COVID-19. Adaptability and acceptance is about the powerful difference between adapting to cope or adapting to win. So acceptance then in any situation is much easier than when we join in with it. So how do we do this? So we join in this because it becomes qualified of my experience or our experiences. We're unified with it. We qualified with it. I have to be able to accept this new situation because it represents a form of intelligence behavior. Now let's look at that intelligence behavior. So today, Jackie and my friend Jules from Unity were to be with me to do this. And then Jules was exposed with someone that was ill and said she couldn't come over. So then I worked with Jules on Wednesday, which said I had to tell Jackie that she couldn't come over. And then I'm going, oh my God, I can't do this. I don't know how to do this technical stuff. But acceptance in any situation is so much easier when we join in with it. You have to be able to accept a new situation because it represents a form of intelligence behavior. So now Jackie is behind the screens or in the back door or something with all of this. I am here in my home on the riverfront by myself, and I can do this. See? So I just have to go to my center for all of this and seek the presence of God and know that I can find the sacred and holy just by joining in with acceptance. So here's the thing. When you become all inclusive in your wanting of God, wanting peace, good health, there is nothing else. And therefore, there's nothing to judge and nothing to be afraid of. So by doing this, what I've done and what we are going to do and are doing is to neutralize this virus. It's not good or bad. Right now, it just is until it isn't. By joining then in acceptance with the situation, we learn to adjust ourselves to the conditions we have to endure. Here then we make a point of trying to alter or correct the conditions so they can be favorable and not an enemy. All of us, we need to get off this roller coaster in our lives and not live between happiness and sadness. There is in each of us something that knows we are entitled to so much more than that. We are entitled to a sense of consistency and as our state of mind. But here's what I know. I know that any change is always accompanied by either drawbacks or some discomfort. It's time for us to come from a spirit-inspired acceptance, a spirit-inspired acceptance, a conscious acceptance. This will stabilize our emotions. Conscious acceptance then becomes the way. It will lead us to a path of joy and acceptance and what it is. And it's a refusal, an absolute refusal that brings us to reject and refuse to have misery and pain in our lives. Acceptance, in the true spiritual sense, is to go within and release projection and judgment by allowing them to be the way that they are. They are not the real problems. There's no point in complaining about all this. Being in a state of trust, it's not an passive experience. It's very much a state of activity, being present with what life represents. So by living your life from a state of spirit-inspired acceptance, you get deeper into your life experience. The feeling of acceptance is experiencing the miracle within. So is there a miracle in all that's happening right now? I say absolutely. The abundance of acceptance and contagious kindness. There's that waking up of how we treat each other and our world. This is a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call to how we live our lives and how much that we don't respect and love our homes and our families in our homes, how we care for ourselves, the self-care. It's a chance to rest, to look up at our lives and see what we've been missing by being a human doing instead of a human being. I was thinking a few weeks ago with all that's been going on in my life with my friend being sick in New York and then going back to her memorial, that maybe I needed a month's sabbatical and to stay home and rest. Well, the universe said, yes, I'm giving it to you. Well, it wasn't the way I was thinking about it. Be careful what you ask for, because the universe always says yes. I'm going to ask you right now, if you'll just take a moment to get comfortable, close your eyes, if you're comfortable with that, and go within with me. And as we affirm for our health and for the world at large, there is a capacity for knowing God and consciously communing and knowing the presence within. We use this knowing, this power, to sustain our consciousness of health and a rapid close of all that is called dis-ease. This alone ensures and stabilizes our world of fear and brings to us joy and peace of mind. To heal brings forth the perfect Christ consciousness that exists within each of us. Knowing the Christ, I know that we have a healthy body, mind, spirit, and soul. True health is from within, and I affirm that for myself and each person that can hear these words. I completely release all thoughts of fear and affirm that whatever I have allowed to cloud my thinking is now gone. I allow the healing light of God to bathe my body in pure love. What I see, I become, and I see only perfection. Divine currents and circulation flow through me. I am the health of God. I am the strength of God. I am the magnificent expression of God. And it is so. It can be no other way. And so it is. Amen. And it is done. And as we come back from this place of peace and understanding and spirit-inspired consciousness, I ask that with your kindness and your understanding, I am passing the virtual love offering basket. As you know, and I know, life goes on, and our center will stay financially sound with your generous and loving gifts. You can go online with your bank and have automatic payments sent to our center. You can mail a check or donate with the text number that has been on your screen. So God bless and thank you all. Follow the guidelines. Stay home, stay safe, pray, journal, meditate, and you will stay well. See you next week. And thank you.